Now, when I say Batman loves Joker, it's sad that I have to make this clarification. I am not meaning that Batman has romantic feelings for Joker or vice versa. Just wanted to get that out the way since people got mad at me about asking about Joker sexuality in a video I did like a year ago that I still get angry comments over. So now that we're all on the same page, let's talk about this really toxic relationship. Welcome back, Gothamites. If you're new here, hi. I'm London, aka History of the Batman. I know that 2020 is a dumpster fire of a year and we're only halfway through it, but this year is awesome because it marks the 80th anniversary of the debut of the Clown Prince of Crime himself, the Joker, in 1940's Batman issue number 1. So of course there's 8 decades worth of chaotically amazing Joker tales that should just be highlighted all year round. To me, the most interesting Joker stories aren't the ones where Joker's randomly murdering Gothamites or threatening to poison the water supply in Gotham City. The stories that are the most fascinating are the ones where Joker and Batman are not battling one another, in a sense, but work together and actually recognize each other as human beings. Really messed up human beings, but humans nonetheless. Because while we as fans see them as representations of good versus evil, both of these very troubled men probably have way more in common with one another than you may think. But even though they may have similarities, both use their trauma in different ways, which makes them the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime that we know and celebrate today. For instance, Batman uses his trauma to fight injustice and save innocent lives, and Joker does whatever he wants because chaos and nothing really matters to him, especially innocent lives. But through everything that Joker has done over his last 80 years, Batman has not killed him. Honestly, this goes beyond Batman's moral code. I don't care what you say. So to observe this dynamic a little bit further to celebrate Joker's anniversary, I wanted to highlight the best stories that showcase Batman and Joker working together for a common cause and observe how these two enemies relate to one another more than what lies on the dingy, bloody surface of this universe, and revealing overall that they both do have love for one another in the most twisted way possible, and why that is very important for their 80-year fictional narrative. But before we get into some amazing stories, why don't you subscribe to this channel and become part of this wonderful Gothamite community? One Batman and Joker story that I am desperate to talk about is Batman Europa. This 2015-2016 4-issue arc by Matteo Casali and Brian Azzarello is one of the best Batman and Joker stories in the last 5 years, period. After Batman learns from his blood work that Alfred checked because he is both a doctor and all of our dads, he discovers he has what is called the Colossus virus. Bruce's findings leads him to Berlin, Germany for answers. And who does he not only run into, but also is in Berlin to find a cure for the same virus that he has? I will give you one guess. So Batsy and Joker work together and discover that they have to go from Berlin to Prague to track down who is known as the Trojan Horse, who is the person behind this entire Colossus virus, which first leads them to a den full of evil automatons, and one of them actually entraps Joker and almost kills him, but of course Batman saves his life because Batman loves Joker. We know this. Let's move on. After this rendezvous in Prague, we are going to Paris. La couverture de Diego Latour pour le numéro 3 et la perfection. Just so good. Do you see it? Once they arrive at the City of Lights and Joker takes Batman down to the catacombs into this weird cult, basically, that is the Le Cercle des Rois des Clowns, they literally worship Joker. I I love it so much. The duo find that they have to head to Notre Dame to see the Trojan horse. At Notre Dame, Batman actually almost dies by falling off the roof, but Joker saves his life because Joker loves Batman. We know this, let's move on. The Trojan horse's last clue, which is in the form of a gruesome death inspired by Portia, the Roman wife of Brutus, you know, Brutus, the guy who set up the whole assassination of Julius Caesar, who took her own life by ingesting hot coals. What an awful way to go. Leads them to Rome, Italy. So when Batsy and Joker arrive at the Colosseum, they learn that the Trojan horse is no one other than Bane. Which is like the greatest thing ever because I love Bane so much. But anyway, Bane gave both Batman and Joker the infection to prove to them that they both need each other in their lives and they cannot live without each other. So much so that Bane literally made them the antidotes for one another. Because Batman and Joker love each other, we know this. Let's move on. Together, Batman and Joker beat up Bane. They find the cure within one another for the virus. They get better, and of course, Batman is just off fighting Joker as he usually does. But does take a moment to think about what Bane said and why he started this whole European trip. Really, the moral of Batman Europa is that Batman and Joker need each other in their lives because they are the same in so many ways. That having one without the other would almost be an imbalance in both of their worlds. They feed off each other's very complex energy and literally need one another to survive. Especially in this story. 10 out of 10 recommend. Please go read it. Our next story is Devil's Advocate, a Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, and Scott Hanna story from 1995. After Gothamites are being killed off by receiving poisonous stamps that commemorate dead comedians, of course the GCPD automatically thinks that Joker is behind these hilarious crime. And the DA sees this as the perfect opportunity to finally nab the clown prince of crime. And they give Joker the death penalty. But Joker confesses to his good old friend Batman that he is not the person that is doing all of these murders for a change. And of course, Batman believes his arch nemesis because Batman loves Joker. We know this. Let's move on. Before Joker is put to death, Batman is out investigating who the true killer is. Despite all of the other things that Joker has done, especially to the Batman family, the Dark Knight truly believes that he cannot have Joker die if he is not the person who committed these crimes. Whew. And at the very last second, before that switch is pulled and Joker dies, Batman is able to find the true killer and saves Joker's life. And while Joker is happy he's alive, he's kind of bummed out that he now owes a life debt to the Caped Crusader, which of course they have this connection because they love each other. We know this. Let's move on. This underrated graphic novel from 1995 is an exceptional read that dives deeper into the dysfunctional relationship of Batman and Joker, and once again, why they need each other to balance out their own specific crusades in Gotham. Our next story is one of my favorite Joker stories of all time. Out of all the 80 years, I have talked about it on this channel before. I absolutely love it, and that is Going Sane, which is a 1994-1995 J.M. DeMatteis and Joe Staton Legends of the Dark Knight arc, which I love it so much. After Batman has to track down Joker, who has kidnapped a congresswoman and has put her in a huge theater that is surrounded with explosives, Batman is able to save the congresswoman, but of course the building explodes and Batman is seemingly dead. It's his body laying in the river. And Joker truly believes that the Batman is actually dead. At this moment, Joker's entire perspective, life, religion, everything changed, because for him, without Batman, there is no reason to have a Joker. So then the story follows Joker actually reforming himself, calling him Joseph Kerr. So good. With a whole backstory of his parents' death, giving him the inheritance to be able to give him an apartment to live in. He gets a regular job. He even starts dating a very, very lovely woman. And he's just living a normal life, not being the chaotic clown prince of crime. As weeks pass and Joseph is just living his new, reformed, happy life, of course, the Dark Knight barely returns to the Batcave, which Alfred's like, oh, that's great, because, you know, I thought my son was dead, because our dad was worried. And then, one day, Joseph Kerr reads in the paper that Batman is back in Gotham. And literally, the moment he reads that paper, he just snaps and just throws all of his reformed life out the window and goes back to being the Joker. And the story literally ends with Batman and Joker fighting in the same spot that they did in the beginning of this entire arc. DeMatteis Going Sane is one of the best examples to look at the Batman and Joker dynamic and how they feed off of each other and how this yin and yang quality within this dynamic is just so important in telling a really compelling and amazing Batman and Joker story. Because of course, as we're learning, Batman loves Joker and vice versa. We know this. Let's move on to the next story. My last major story that I wanted to highlight is actually a DC Marvel crossover from the 1990s, because if you aren't aware, the 90s was the ultimate era of the intercompany crossover. I wish so much that we can have stories like this again right now, but I know it's all messy and corporate and it's a lot going on. But I love so much intercompany crossovers because it is so cool to see Batman out of his element. Even if he's in Gotham, dealing with other heroes from other universes and them trying to deal with Batman's own code of justice, which you can totally see in Chuck Dixon's Punisher and Batman Deadly Night. Now, this isn't the first Punisher and Batman crossover. The first one actually had Punisher dealing with Azrael's Batman because it was during the time of Batman Nightfall when Bane broke Bruce Wayne's Batman's back and Bruce had to go heal and John Paul Valley was this crazy lethal Batman. That's the Batman that Punisher met. Now in this crossover, Punisher is meeting Bruce Wayne's Batman and can automatically see a huge difference. The biggest one being Batman doesn't kill his enemies. He's not fine with being lethal like Azrael was, and of course that's where Punisher and Batman clash. The Punisher does come back to Gotham City to track down his enemy, Jigsaw, who is of course tied up in a scheme with who else? The Joker. And in a weird way, the Punisher decides to fight the Joker and Batman decides to fight Jigsaw. They just traded bad guys and now everyone's duking it out, and Punisher is ready to kill the Joker. And of course, what does Batman do? What does he do when he sees that his arch nemesis is about to finally meet the demise that he really deserves? He says, no, don't kill him. I love him. Okay, he didn't say I love him, but he's like, no, don't kill him. And Punisher's like, wow, you're really effed up, but okay. Joker, of course, escapes because Joker always escapes. And then before Punisher leaves Gotham, he wants to tell Batman, he wants to make sure he knows that Batman and Joker deserve each other. This person from an entirely other fictional universe who has dealt with this particular Batman for such a short period of time already can see that Batman loves Joker, Joker loves Batman. We all know this, so let's move on. What I do love is that right after Punisher drops that bomb on Batman, he's leaving saying that he hates Gotham because, let's face it, Gotham is trash. There are other intercompany crossovers that do have Batman and Joker kind of working together that I'm going to highlight in the next video, part of this mini celebratory Joker session, but let's just kind of wrap up this one and looking at Batman and Joker's dynamic and why this really dysfunctional dynamic duo love each other. Ever since Bill Finger's first untitled story that introduced the Joker in 1940's Batman #1, this fight between good and evil in Gotham have become both of these men's obsession over the last 80 years. Joker's massive death count that continually rises leaves a very deep cut in The Dark Knight, knowing that somewhere, somehow, with Joker continually creating mayhem, that somewhere Batman feels that he has failed Gotham. He has failed Gothamites. He has failed to do his job of protecting this city that he vowed to do ever since his parents' murder all those years ago. And since Batman doesn't stop Joker by just ending Joker, it makes the Batman question his own sanity. What does that mean for Batman if he lets this madman just run around Gotham doing whatever he wants and doesn't just stop it completely? Batman knows that he needs Joker in his life. Dealing with Joker makes Batman remember his own humanity. Makes him wonder if his vigilantism is moral and if he actually is doing the right thing by letting Joker just do whatever he wants in Gotham, basically. As we have seen in the several stories in this video, both of these characters in many ways do complete one another in their own particular crusades and paths within this DC Comics universe. And due to this reality, if Batman and Joker have other people outside of this particular yin and yang dynamic, those are the people are not going to get the same attention and respect and even love and admiration. And one quick example that I do want to discuss is actually in Gotham City Sirens issue 19. It's a Pete Calloway story, and it has Harley Quinn and Catwoman talking about their relationship with Joker and Batman, and both of them saying that when they are with their partner, they're not there, that they are not thinking about these women, that Batman is thinking about Joker and Joker is thinking about Batman, and that is the goal, either stopping him or getting on each other's nerves, whatever it is that really gets them off. So with all of that being said, yes, I do stand by my claim that Batman does love Joker and Joker does love Batman. And part of this very, very complex statement is that they are both dependent on each other within their own costumed guises. And when push comes to shove, they both have saved each other's lives countless times, more than the times that we've discussed in this video. That's why, like in the beginning, I said there's something more than just Batman's no guns, no killing, blah, 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 moral modern code that he has that is stopping him from killing Joker, from just ending all of that madness that he has put on not only Gothamites, but also members of the Batman family. Because I know that people will say, well, if Batman kills, he's just like the criminals, blah, blah, blah. I do understand that point. I do. Even though I said blah, blah, blah. But I do understand that. However, it all leads to a deeper, crazy rabbit hole that leads to not such a just black and white view of what it means to be good or evil when it comes to one's humanity, which is one of the many, many reasons why this relationship is one of the greatest in all of fiction. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about the Batman and the Joker's dynamic and why Batman can't kill the madman because he loves him. Or something to that effect. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a bat thumbs up. As always, all of my social media is linked in the description below, including Instagram at History of the Batman. So why don't you give it a follow and become a Gothamite? Check out the rest of my Batman videos on this channel. And before I end all of this, I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much to everyone's responses and kind words of support after my last video on this channel that discussed my Batman comic book collection being stolen and my grieving and healing process. It was a very hard video to film, but venting and being able to talk about it and not just sit in my office and cry about all the things that I lost really was therapeutic for me, and it really did help me. And your guys' support always helps me. So I just wanted to quickly say thank you to anyone who watched it and anyone who reached out afterwards to talk to me. So I just really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, and before I leave you with your thoughts about what you think Batman and Joker's relationship really is, please subscribe to the channel so you can become part of this Batman community. It would mean so much to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will have more history of the Batman soon right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, all about peace, love, and Batman. Bye.